Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzlies stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
You've coached a lot of different versions of the SEC, and obviously there's never been one deeper than this. What's it like been coaching in this?
The reason for the league being so good is the commitment. Commitment to coaching, commitment to facilities, commitment to the NIL across the board. There is not anybody in our league that's not investing in all those things.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping.
It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
Behind the back to Jared for the flash.
We're going to need, the Forum rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane three. Yes, sir! Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
We will get into all things Grizzlies, but first and foremost, a big congratulations to the Memphis Tigers for locking up at least a share of the AAC title. First time since joining the American Athletic Conference that they are regular season conference champs.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
We had big classic news from the Southern Heritage Classic last week when it was announced Arkansas Pine Bluff and Alcorn State will be the two classic participants.
Being a part of the classic is a big deal. It's third year for UAPB and the first year for Alcorn. So I'm just glad we were able to get it done.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Live from downtown Memphis, this is the Chris Vernon Show on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Chris Vernon.
GrindCityMedia.com. It's Chris Vernon Show. Welcome. It's a Thursday, March 27th, 2025 edition of the show. Today on the show, Sweet 16 is going to get back underway tonight. Alan Boston is going to join us from Las Vegas, give us his thoughts on tonight's games, our favorite college basketball handicapper. In addition to that, talk about what went on last night, and the Grizzlies are playing against the Thunder tonight. Ton of stuff to get to. It's a Thursday. It is beautiful out. Smile. Let's do it. Turn it up. Once in your life, won't you do what feels right instead of waiting for the next big thing to strike? Stop running your mouth. Get out of the house. Get yourself downtown and shake it. Hope everybody's having a good day. All right, we got a ton of stuff to get to on the show today, not the least of which is the Sweet 16 is going to be back underway tonight. In addition to that, the Grizzlies are going to be playing against the Oklahoma City Thunder in Oklahoma. Before I get to anything, I welcome John Roser to the show. John Roser, a.k.a. the Cologne Ranger, the Body Spray Bandit, Senor Sack, Johnny Backpull, Johnny Bearcat, John Asparagus, Johnny Neck Harp, John Lance. He's Dr. Thunder. He's John Quadrant. He's Yogi Roser. Hello, John. Oh, no. Uh-oh.
And this is just a small little preview of tomorrow.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a hog hat. The Hogs play tonight.
This is a small
he can't even decide who he's a fan of. What a band, Johnny Bandwagon. You're a joke.
Small preview of tomorrow.
John Vol.
The flagship university in the state takes the court tomorrow.
John Vol is going to be showing up tomorrow on the show. All right.
The flagship.
Devin Walker's here. He's the microphone mangler. Senor Quasadilla. Mr. Matt. Navajo Joe. The reporter. The photographer. He's Sir His. He's Walker 93.
Look, the Proud Boys used to come at me for switching sides of who I root for. Come on,
this is disgusting.
You don't even know who's
no, it's
tonight.
Honestly gross.
Like,
you need to talk louder.
It's on it.
Do you need my Tennessee megaphone here? Do you need it? Go Vols.
That's not until tomorrow.
That's not even a megaphone.
It's whatever this is. Say it's great to beat a Tennessee Vol.
No. Yeah, I hope your mom disowns you.
Yeah, but hey.
She probably already has.
I don't blame her.
I wouldn't blame her either.
Yeah, you're disgusting. Just get ready. All right. So last night, there's a bunch of stuff that is going on tonight. Last night, I went home, and after I got everything settled, I thought I'm going to have a little bit of time before I got to get involved in these NBA games. And I knew the Pacers and the Lakers were going to be on, so I was going to watch that. But before I did watch that, I went back and watched, the talk of the sports world yesterday was that LeBron James had done an appearance on the Pat McAfee show. Pat's on at the same time we are, so I had to go back and watch this last night. So I watched the whole thing.
I did too.
Last night,
I rode
right?
my bike at Hot Works, and I watched the whole interview.
I watched the whole thing last night. All right, so you watched it as well. Did you watch it?
I've not seen the whole thing.
All right, so I had seen the clips, right, and I had seen the different things that were said. I will say the clips, I thought, like, you know, sometimes, and this happens with our show quite a bit, right? There are different things that can be clipped from the show, and then it's like, well, it wasn't necessarily representative of everything that went into the conversation, but that's the way the clip world works, right? Honestly, I feel like I got pretty much all the good stuff out of the clips before I watched it. I didn't think it was that in-depth outside of, like, I thought they did a pretty good job of, here's the highlights of this thing. Here are the clips of this thing. Because I took the hour to watch the whole thing, and I was like, the best part was the clips, right? Like, I mean, those were the
most salacious part.
Yeah, and those were the most salacious parts. All right, so there was a couple things that I didn't particularly understand. Like, all right, I am over the whole Stephen A. versus LeBron thing. Like, it's goofy. And
WWE, man.
Yeah, and
it's WWE
and it does feel that way. And them kind of going back and forth, and I'm just over it. Like, I don't care. You know, you guys had mentioned yesterday, because it went online, the whole Windhorst thing. I thought that was like, it felt very weird watching it in context to me. Yeah. Like, it was almost like pointed, like I wanted to bring this up at some point. You know, I wanted to take a shot at this guy at some point. And it's just so, I didn't understand. Like, again, I'm not, you guys know, I'm not like friends with Brian Windhorst. Like, I have an awareness of Brian Windhorst, but like, there's a lot of these guys throughout the NBA media that I've known for a very, very long time. I don't know him personally. Like, we've never hung out or anything, right? Mm-hmm. But I have certainly, he is one of the best NBA reporters, and I followed his work for a long time, and a lot of his work, frankly, was promoting LeBron James. Like, I mean, he's written like 3 or 4 books.
I got one of the books
about LeBron James.
I have
and
one
like,
of them.
he has been, I thought, like, and it feels to me as I was watching it, you know, I brought up to you guys, and this happens in the sports world, right? Where it's like, sometimes the guys that are like defending you, or some guys that have like been on your side, or the guys that have like really promoted you, then when they say something negative about you, that it's so much worse. And I will say that because I have dealt with it for many years regarding coaches. I say very rarely by the time the coaches leave, do I have some kind of really good relationship with them, right? There comes a time where I do have a very good relationship with them, right? Like, they're always like, you know, you're friendly and whatever. And then in many cases, and this happens with players and this happens with coaches, then the second you criticize them, it's like, all right, no, you're not, right? You're either with me or against me kind of thing. And so that's what's so bizarre to me. I have never felt, and I don't think you guys have either. The reason it felt so weird to me watching it in context, for those that don't know, he said Brian Windhorst is a guy that tries to act like he's my best friend, and guys are just weird, you know, whatever. And it's like a pointed, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's something to, he's saying it to make Brian Windhorst look bad, right? He's saying that to make him look bad. And honestly, I've never felt like watching Brian Windhorst or listening to Brian Windhorst that Brian Windhorst has ever presented himself as LeBron's friend. No. Or like that they're big buddies. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I didn't think that was fair, right? To be like, I don't think he's running around trying to present himself like, I know.
He never says like I texted LeBron.
No, like
he's never said like I was texting with LeBron. I talked to LeBron the other day. He never does present
and I
like
also
that.
think that Brian Windhorst, the thing that was upsetting to me is if you were going to say who were over the course of the last 20 years, who've been like, if you think of LeBron and you think of like the good things or like promoting LeBron in a good way, I'd say Brian Windhorst, like, seriously, like, number one. I never think of, like, there's sometimes where there's like there's the relationships that take place and a guy that like is synonymous with a guy, and you think like right when you, and if I think of the person that has been the biggest hater / biggest troll, it's obviously Skip Bayless. Like last night, I sent you guys, I was laughing so hard when Skip Bayless said LeBron hits a game winner easier than a layup. Like he just
certified hater, bro.
Right,
Hall of Fame hater, bro.
But so he would be on the very opposite side of promoting this guy. So that's what was upsetting to me. The other thing is, I don't know why. In context, I honestly thought the Giannis thing, Giannis had scored 250 points in the 70s or whatever. I thought that was just funny, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was funny, lighthearted, guys just talking about sports, right? In context, it felt much more like he was trying to downplay the past in the NBA, like those that had come before him. That felt like these, basically you out there that don't think I'm the GOAT, right? Yeah. Like go get in an old Hummer right now, right? Everybody's better now, right? Like everybody's better. Everything's better. Everybody's better. Everything. Yeah. And so the same exact thing that we always get mad about, right? Like with the old heads hate on the new generation, and now it's like this new generation hates on the past, and it's like, I
wouldn't say hate, and I think it's just more like, even like the whole conversation with Bron, like, people, I think it was a time he said, when I start talking like openly, this may be close to the end, right? Yeah. You never see Bron just like sit and talk. Yeah. Like just it's usually very calculated. It's usually very.
It still was very calculated.
It was calculated. But it was more of like a conversation. Though.
Yeah, but as soon as they tried to get him to just be a normal person, like, hey, what music are you listening to? He literally could not say one musician.
Because with LeBron, he's famous for the rapping the wrong lyrics in the car. Like,
but it's so bizarre that was like just a normal, right? That was the one like normal, like, hey, what about movies? What about music? Who's up next in music? Whatever.
I can tell you the.
And he's like, that's a good part about having teenagers is whatever, right? Like, I mean, like there's stuff that William plays. Like, that's an easy.
No, it's not. The music thing is not for the music thing's not for him.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not, because then it goes into the Kendrick Lamar and Drake stuff. That's
no,
where
it doesn't.
Yes, it does, because he loves Kendrick, but he also has had a friendship with Drake that has now been shattered because of that beef. Drake is not cool with him anymore.
No, but if you were to say, like, who's up next or who are you listening to right now, right? Like, this is a guy that loves music. He's always bopping in his car. That's just a very easy thing to talk about.
I mean, it's probably because he's listening to GNX. You said it was calculated. He talked about the NBA draft stuff, like, very, like, openly. Like, you don't expect him to talk about that. Like, they
getting the number one pick.
They sent D-Rose back to so-and-so, so of course they sent me back to Cleveland. Like, like that's not PR, bro. Like, that ain't just like, all right, I'm gonna say this on a microphone. So like there were some times where it was Bron speaking like
loosened up,
like we just talking. Like the part he was talking about the part that maybe laughed the most was of course the draft stuff, but like him talking about when people see you in real life, they always switch up. What he was talking about when he went back to Cleveland the first time.
Oh, right.
Well, he was like, everybody's like, screw you. He was like, this is when I realized it was just a spectacle. I was in the elevator. Elevator opens up. Dudes wearing the FU shirts, and they saw me and they were like, hey man, no, this is just a joke. We love you. Like, he was like, okay, this. That's when I realized this is just all.
He
goofy.
Also does not understand at all why people were mad about the decision.
Yeah, he was a little off on that one. Off based on the.
He just doesn't get it.
Yeah, he was like.
He doesn't get it. He's like, we raised $2.5 million for a good cause and what? Like, bro, nobody cares about all that. The point is, you went on national TV and ripped the heart out of a city. Like, there's not a sports fan in the world that doesn't relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, if John Moran did that, we would be so mad. Like, bro, you don't have to do this. This is so beyond the like, he still doesn't get why that was so annoying. You know what I mean? It's still like you're a hater if you like they just needed something. Bro, we just needed something that was crazy. It was a made-for-TV special for you to throw crap on a city.
Tough scene.
And to leave. It's just wild. Like, bro, people were not looking for it. But I did think that was fascinating when he said, like, everything was good and they just needed something. Like, bro, if that would have been done a different way, it would not have gotten the same blowback, okay? Yeah. The other thing is you were joining up with two other guys. Also, you know what it made me think of immediately? There's always like these turning points where it's like everything's great, nothing's bad about them, nobody criticizes them, nothing, right? And then something happens. And this feeling that everybody needs a reason to tear you down, but there are always extenuating circumstances. And the two most, if you were to go back like to his last year, and like right prior to Miami, and it's very like Durant in that sense. Where it's like, dude, nobody had one false word to say about Kevin Durant until he left until he did it.
Everybody loved Kenny until then, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think generally that is true of most people that have been in markets forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like obviously Giannis is totally beloved, Jokic is totally beloved, and right? Like, I mean, it's not just everybody is looking for some reason to tear you down, because a lot of these guys that have stayed in teams are not making a spectacle of latching on with another team. Like, they've not, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you were to say right now, like, you go up and down the list of guys that, like, you don't hear regular criticism or people poking holes in a lot of the players that are in the league right now. I don't think there aren't very many polarizing guys, right? And so those were like, it did make me think about like two guys that are probably the two best of this era, and both of them were like totally and completely beloved, and then it switched, right? As soon as they went to go link up with other players where people deemed it to be, you know, unfair almost, right? That's when that took place.
So Giannis didn't play last night, but has anybody even asked him since he got thrown into this if he thinks he would score 250 points?
Somebody's
got to ask him.
Someone's going to ask him for sure.
Anyways, look. I will say this. I'm glad he did it.
Yeah,
I'm glad he did it.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
The shocking thing that you realize him doing it is, bro, like he did that on a game day.
No, he didn't.
He recorded the day before.
Recorded it. It was recorded the day before in Indianapolis. That's what I was thinking. I was like, wait, he did this on a game day?
No, he recorded it the day before. Yeah. They said that at the very beginning.
Yeah, but also, you never just see Bron sit down and yap for an hour and a half, though.
Well, and then it was crazy because then, in fact, because outside of his own stuff, the only podcast I've ever heard him on, I've never heard him on a podcast outside of his own stuff, right? Like the Mind the Game stuff, or like the barbershop's it's not a podcast, but the only one I've ever heard him on, and it must just be like a VC thing, like maybe there's some kind of connection venture capital wise, is this guy named Tim Ferriss. He was on Tim Ferriss's podcast, who's like, he does business, he does health, he does all kinds of stuff, right? He's a venture capitalist guy. Yeah. He did Tim Ferriss's podcast, but it was all about like health. It was all about sleep and about nutrition and about like how he basically takes care of himself. And I listened to it long ago, and I was like, I wonder why he never goes on, right? He never goes on anybody's. No. Maybe he went on Channing Frye's when they did theirs.
Yeah,
you know, when it was him and Jefferson.
Yeah,
way back when. Anyways, so I settled in, and then after I got done watching that, I watched their game, and of course everybody was going to be like, oh, God, the guy went and sat down, did McAfee, and now through the first three quarters, he was 0 for 6 from the field and 3 points. It was crazy, and it was like, whoa. Yeah. I texted you guys. I'm like, bro, I hope we get this LeBron on Saturday night in Memphis. Right? This is like Luka or nothing, because he ain't doing nothing in this game. And then he came out in the fourth quarter, and they had that stat, which was just wild. The whole 1,232 straight games with 10 points. Yeah. And so that becomes like a thing. You're going into the fourth. You haven't made a field goal. It's like, is this guy going to get to 10? And, of course, within like 2 seconds, he gets to 11 going into the fourth quarter. And then that game got great.
Yeah, it was a good game.
There at the end.
It did. It was fun. It was fun.
Except for the Pacers' last possession where they didn't get Halliburton back in the game.
They didn't
got maybe the worst shot in NBA history.
Mathurin?
Yes.
The double clutch. That shot was terrible.
I thought they got him the ball with like 6 seconds left, so now it's like, hey, just create something for yourself. Like, why did this take 18 seconds to get the ball to Ben Mathurin so that he could double clutch a stupid three?
Both teams, I thought, in the last 2 to 3 minutes, I thought both of those teams were like a mess. in different ways.
Yes.
Like the Pacers looked like just disorganized defensively. The Lakers looked disorganized defensively.
Dude,
and then even some of the offensive
Nothing at the
possessions were
rim.
like
Nothing
at the rim. The Lakers have nothing at the rim.
No, that's the recipe you're seeing. Like you spread them out and you target like Luka and Reeves defensively.
And that is one of the things. If that is the matchup for the Grizzlies, obviously we don't like it. But if you had a healthy John Morant could get to the basket.
He can. He can score 250 points.
He could get to the basket against that team.
Yes.
Right? They pack it in a lot too defensively. But again, if you can you just got to get a stop and get a transition. Once you get in transition, run.
Yeah.
Like they're playing the Bulls next, same thing. It's just every time it was just push the pace because if they can walk you down, you're in big you're in a big problem.
Yeah,
but
Bron
if you
and
can
Luka.
just keep getting stops and run, like they don't stay in front of anybody, right?
No,
they don't have the defensive acumen to say
you can't-
they don't have the guys.
Yeah, you can't
They
let
got
them-
one defender like we do. They have Finney Smith, we have Jaren.
You can't let them play half court ball. They get in the half court. LeBron and Luka are gonna
That's it.
walk you
they're
down,
gonna
bro.
mind game you to death.
Yeah,
Like,
that's right.
That's also another part too that I thought he brought up too is the thinking the game part.
Yeah.
I thought that was a big thing that
I mean, down at the end of the stretch, Rui Hachimura hit 2 threes, and both times the other way, the Pacers just drove down and made a layup.
It was Halliburton and Nembhard just
off makes,
just drove right down, right past the guy layups.
What are we doing, Ben? What are we doing, Ben? Step back on two people
so
is crazy.
That's so bad.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Even Santi thinks that's
Hey, come on,
terrible
bro.
right
No
there.
And then, of course, LeBron gets the tip in at the buzzer.
Hey, look at that. Right place, right time, King James. There you go. Right place, right time. That's probably the easiest.
I was more shocked actually that Luka missed that.
Yeah,
that's like as good of a runner as you're gonna get right there.
That's like his easiest game winner he's probably hit in his career. The 1 foot tip. You know what I'm saying? Shout out LeBron, man.
You sound like Skip Bayless.
You know, hey, nah, man. I'm a King James guy, man. You know, shout out to Braun.
That was not good for us, though.
I know.
That was not good. We were rooting for the Pacers. And I tell you this, the Pacers got what we got a couple of years ago, which is like, bro, really, Rui Hachimura? Really? Like, that's the guy you leave open. That's the guy, right? It is. Yeah. You're dedicating multiple guys to the others. You're making sure that they, like they would go and they would run that double at Luka. Somebody's got to get open shots.
Yep.
They're face guarding Reeves. And so it's Rui.
It's Rui.
And if Rui Hachimura is going to hit threes, then you're just smoked.
Well, we know
And
we're
he-
screwed.
I know.
We know we're screwed.
We left that.
Yeah, because Gabe Vincent ain't
Well,
hitting nothing.
he's played I think it's 14 games against us. Rui has. He shoots 56% from three against us.
I mean, they're wide open.
It is by far.
But we treat him exactly how the Pacers did, which is like, all right, look, if we lose to Rui Hachimura, we lose to Rui Hachimura. And then you do.
And then you do.
And then you do.
I mean, it happens, bro.
The worst.
But, I mean, you have to give up something. Like, honestly, we did it against Brooklyn with Finney Smith, and he did us in.
Yeah, that's what we wanted.
Earlier this year.
So bad.
And they have both of them?
I know.
Oh, right. We tried to do it with what's the name? We tried to do it with SGA, and then Aaron Wiggins fraud us.
Oh, Aaron Wiggins.
He's out tonight, by the way.
Thank God. We needed that. They said Jalen Williams is questionable.
Okay.
And Josh's still out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Are we going to get an update?
Because
like, what happened?
I'm getting very, very, very,
I'm
very,
getting one.
How has nobody talked about it?
Pessimistic.
What happened?
You are not optimistic. You are pessimistic.
I'm
What,
like in
bro?
the middle of those two.
That if you had to put your money on it, would you say he is out for the rest of the regular season or no?
If I had to put my money on it, no.
Because the rest of the season's like 2 weeks.
What
10 games.
happened is what happened?
Well, we still don't know how Marvin Bagley got a concussion either.
I'm just praying to
He
God.
was unbelievable against the Cavs.
The best defense
And then
in
we
the NBA.
never saw him again. And he wasn't hobbling.
He's like Kaiser Soze. He's just gone.
When did it happen? You remember the next game he sat out with a shoulder.
Yeah.
So did he do it at practice? And then it was hamstring soreness, and now it's hamstring strain. Yeah. What do we think? Do we think they're just bubble wrapping him until we get to the playoffs?
I hope so.
Or do we think that because in the absence of an explanation, Yeah, that's what I've got to just believe.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, dude,
Brandon,
just get to the playoffs. The only thing that matters is him being available for the playoffs. And especially now that we've lost Brandon Clark, it's even more important, right? So do we think that, because otherwise, hamstrings are, we didn't even think that was like, it was first shoulder, then hamstring soreness. Now it's hamstring strain.
Yeah.
And no one has seemingly spoke about this.
Okay, so if you base it off like other events, right? When Jaren got hurt against Atlanta, right? We knew like right then they sent like a little press release. Like,
correct.
Yeah, he's hurt, right? When BC got hurt, it was like, yo, he fell in the game.
Correct.
He's hurt. So that's why it makes me feel
that's
better.
What's so it's
there's been no press release.
Also,
there's been no press release.
That's what I'm saying. That's the difference in this situation, right?
Yeah.
That's what like leads them to believe like maybe he's all right. Hopefully he's all right. Because it's like we haven't had like a press release like, yo, he got hurt doing this, this, and this. We'll update you, so and so. But Taylor did say he was day to day, but it's been like more than day to day at this point.
It's been 7 days.
So I'm praying 2 days in a row on the show that he's fine.
Saturday.
That he'll be right Saturday or Monday or one of these games at the crib. He'll be back.
So do we think he didn't hurt his hamstring?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. I just my worst fear is.
Well, then you have to falsify medical reports.
No, but you can't get mad at me.
What?
Well, you have to send all that stuff to the NBA, like the injury stuff. Like you have to prove that they're hurt.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. This ain't the freaking.
No, you don't.
Well, then you get fined $100,000.
No, you don't.
Roser.
No, you don't.
You can fake an injury all you want, bro.
Well, the Jazz did it, and they got fined.
I just don't want tomorrow to come and we get to like 4:59 p.m. and I get that dreaded email.
All I'm saying is,
I might cry.
This is the conversation that the fan base is going to have in the absence of any clarity. So, can't get mad at me for bringing this up. When we're sitting there going like, bro, we don't know what happened. Nobody knows what happened. Like, I thought it was a shoulder. Then he hurt his hamstring. But then his hamstring was just sore.
Because you can't.
But then his hamstring was strained. It's like, bro, did you do an MRI? And then, right? But then again, usually you get like after MRI imaging, we revealed a strain, right? We thought he just had a sore hamstring. Actually, turns out we threw a camera on it, and there's actually something wrong there, and so we need to really rest him. Or I don't know.
I hope it's the second one. I hope it's when we get back, they'll talk and they'll give us an update. Because as the days go by, I get more and more like, yo. Okay.
How is there just no like clarity on like, is he okay?
I hope he's
is his hamstring hurt?
I hope he's fine.
And when did it happen? When did he hurt his hamstring? At practice? Huh?
Had to be at practice.
Yeah, a little tweaky.
Yeah.
And he already had a bad shoulder?
Yeah.
His shoulder's already been messed. We know his shoulder's gonna be messed up for the next 2 years. Yeah. His shoulder's gonna be messed up.
Yeah.
The hamstring is a new one. Shoulder, that thing's gonna be.
I'm just gonna hope he's bubble wrapped.
Yeah, I hope so too, bro.
The shoulder. Wait, you're saying
I'm gonna pray for the best. I'm gonna pray for the best.
So you just said the shoulder is going to be messed up.
Yeah, his shoulders. Bro.
Like going forward, you're saying the next 2 years. The
okay, 2 years is a wild. I'm just saying, like his shoulder is like messed. Like his shoulder is messed up.
He keeps on having problems with the shoulder.
His shoulder's messed up, bro.
And this is not like alarming to anybody for the long term. Like,
yeah, of course it is.
I'm just like I'm saying. Eventually in the offseason, get the rest.
I don't think it ever got right after the Tice thing.
Nah, the Tice thing messed it, like re-messed it up. So maybe in the offseason you get a chance to rest, and then you'll be fine. But like. While we're playing these games right now until the playoffs,
I know. I know that.
It's finna be.
That's why he got shot up.
Yeah. See, there you go, HIPAA law guy over here.
Well, he said it. I didn't say HIPAA.
He did say that.
He said it on national TV.
Hey, it's like, look, bro, we just got to get him to the playoffs because the only chance you have in the playoffs is if you got him, and the only thing that matters is him being able to be out there for the playoffs.
Yes.
And so, let's hope he's not badly injured. And that we can get to the playoffs. I am of the opinion that you still want to get a bunch of reps, especially when you have no idea what your rotation is now. We don't know.
We have no idea.
Right? We don't know what our rotation is.
Yeah.
None. And I guess, at this point, honestly, seed is infinitely less important. This is the problem the NBA has. This is the problem the NBA has. In the end, and I heard Gary mention this yesterday, the problem the league has is that winning tonight's game is never the top priority. That's the problem they have. If you're just boiling it down, if we're saying what is the top priority, keeping your guys healthy is much more important than winning the game tonight. But yet you have a game tonight that needs to be marketed, that needs to have fans in it, that needs, right? You know what I'm saying? Like the priorities of, right? Fans, and this is what I've lamented over and over again, fans have gotten so far down the list. In terms of things
that's 100% true.
That's part of
100%
it, right?
true.
Like
yes.
in the end, what matters is, and look, I don't know how to fix that, but like, I think we would accept too. Like the Grizzlies have zero chance without Ja Morant in the playoffs. Yeah. He is our chance.
Zero chance.
He is our chance. So I understand, right? If you're just trying to get to the playoffs, just because you're going to need him.
Yeah.
That's the thing that matters. But, I mean, you've got that going on all over the league. A bunch of teams saying, bro, we just got to get healthy to play. You know what I mean? Like, in the end, what matters is getting your guys to the playoffs and being healthy when you get to the playoffs. We have seen this. You know, even those great grit grind teams, they were altered by injury. Mike Conley gets a broken face. Tony Allen busts his hamstring. Tony Allen busts his calf. You know, like you have different injuries that have taken things out. Last year, I'm watching that Pacers team last night against the Lakers. Pacers made it to the freaking Eastern Conference Finals because they got to play against an injured Knicks team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You looked at the very beginning. The Celtics, they played against a woefully injured Miami Heat team. You play Miami without Jimmy Butler, that's a different world, right? Then they go to the next round. It's like they never, even by the time they got to the Eastern Conference Finals, they were playing against, you know, the Pacers, who had lost Matherin at that point, right? It's like, it's just who can be healthy when by the time you get to the playoffs and as people start dropping like flies. So let's just hope that Ja Morant is okay.
There's got to be, like, I agree with you. There's got to be, like, I understand team, you know, when you said the emphasis is not on winning tonight's game, but you also understand the other side of it of wanting to keep your guys healthy because it is a super long season. But there's got to be a balance in here. There's got to be a balance,
right?
It can't just be, no, screw the game tonight, you know.
No, bro, I want to win, bro.
Well, no, and it's somewhere where it's like, is this? You want to feel like they're not mutually exclusive. That's the issue.
Yeah.
You want to feel like they're not mutually exclusive. To where it's like, if I said, hey, would you rather come out of tonight's game completely healthy or win the game? You would say, I mean, if those are my choices, well, the problem is that can't be the choice.
Okay, well, here's also
you've got to be able to keep guys healthy.
Here's also the truth.
Play basketball without getting hurt.
Right. Here is also the truth of this. There's another truth to this. About 3 years ago, they did lose Ja Morant, and they lost Ja Morant a lot. And the roster was good enough you could win without him.
Yeah. Right.
And that's not the case right now.
No.
Oh, it's definitely not the same roster, boy.
No.
But yeah.
If we play like we did to start that game against Utah and play like we did in the first half, they will score 100 points in the first half tonight.
And that's not even like loosely saying. That's dead ass. 100 points.
100.
SGA by himself.
My expectations my expectations are at a absolute minimum.
I have zero care about this game. We're talking about caring about games.
You got to be at the hustle game anyway, so you can say that, buddy.
Currently constructed.
Shut up.
Yeah, I know. Get mad. It's okay.
Oh shit.
I'll be locked in. Let me correct it because people get weird. I think he's going to deal with this for a little bit until he can offload it.
He said that.
That's what I'm saying.
He said he shouldn't be playing now.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm correcting it because people get weird.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just saying until he can offload it, he's going to have to deal with it. But no.
It's something that the shoulder thing is just going to bother him the rest of the season. Exactly. But again, as we've said, we can shoot him up.
Well, hey, look, as someone who doesn't.
You did say that.
That's your fault.
I
didn't mean to say. I didn't mean.
That's your fault.
Hyperbole.
As someone who never does.
Speaking of hyperbole.
That's your fault.
As someone who doesn't choose their words wise.
Don't use fake wiener on him.
Choose your words more wisely.
Don't use fake wiener.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right, real quickly, the other thing I watched, you know how I told you I became a I flip around and I'll watch things on YouTube now, and I'll fall down these YouTube wormholes. And I've told you guys in the past about the only other thing after I watched the Lakers and the Pacers, I got bored with that Suns game, and so I flipped on YouTube to see what was on there, and it popped up on my screen. I've told you about Bryson DeChambeau becoming a YouTuber.
I love how you said that you flipped on a channel.
Yeah,
you flipped on YouTube like it was a channel.
It was. It is a channel on my thing.
Keep going. My bad.
All right. It is. It's just an app.
Yeah. It's an app.
Sorry, Devin. An app. So I clicked on the YouTube app. It's on my TV, and then it popped up because I've watched his videos in the past, and it was like. It says can I shoot under par with the cheapest clubs off TEMU? And I was like, I'm in.
Oh no,
dude!
Not the TEMU clubs.
Yeah, I watched the first 10 minutes of it. It is hilarious. He bought a bunch of clubs on TEMU for $120. The whole set.
Did he break the club hitting a driver?
No, he double bogeyed the first hole. This is one of the best golfers in the world.
So clubs matter.
He is buddy. It's the greatest advertisement for getting your clubs fitted and buying real clubs. He bought a $120 set off TEMU. He's like, wait, there's only one wedge. It's only a 20-minute video. It's reasonably funny to watch. And then I started looking into all of the March Madness stuff. And as I mentioned, we are going to have Allen Boston coming up. In the first 2 rounds, the favorites, so if you were just favored in the game, they were 36-12. Only 12 underdogs won the game outright in the first round. Against the spread, it was 26-22. So,
Okay.
that was pretty even. Interestingly enough, unders are 27-20-1 in the games that have been played thus far. Tonight, the reason I'm mentioning this, so the unders are 27-20-1 so far. Tonight, BYU Bama, that's the first Sweet 16 game, and we will get to this with Allen Boston. The total on that game is 175.5. It is the highest total in a March Madness game in their database going back to 2000.
Woo! Let's go.
Sheesh.
175.5.
Yeah.
For tonight's game.
That's insane.
Bro, it hits the under if it's 90-85 hits the under.
Hey, that's a good that's a good college basketball game.
It makes me want to take the over.
No, for real. You just for fun.
Because it's crazy.
Yeah.
How does 90-85 hit the under? Can you imagine 90-85 in a college basketball game hitting the under? That's what we've got tonight with BYU and Alabama. Both play like NBA teams. Fly up and down the court, shoot 1,000,003, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bet the over, bro, just for fun. Just to give you something to root
I will
for.
say Arkansas is tonight, and I did see this stat from my man Ben Fawkes. Calipari is 10-2 against the spread in the Sweet 16.
Wow.
Yep. And Arkansas, since February 1st, when they've gotten cracking, they are 8-2 as an underdog. So, I don't know. Take that for what you will. They're playing against Texas Tech tonight.
I think
that game is going on.
Tonight.
Maryland, Florida should be amazing.
Yeah.
That should be great.
Some good
And then you got Duke, Arizona, which is the Caleb Love thing. Yeah, no, they're all good. They're all good. Look, we got, the lowest seed we have left in this is Arkansas.
Yeah.
And Lord knows they've got a bunch of talent, right? They've got a bunch of talent. Talent's not their issue. And so things may have, I think people look at that team and go, it could have gone differently for them. So these games, even that first one that's going off at 6 o'clock tonight, 175.5.
Yes, bro. That's a perfect roadway to the Grizzlies game.
I need to see what Ken Palm has that game projected as. Let's see. Alabama. Okay, here we go. So Alabama is the number 1 tempo team in the entire country.
Roll Tide.
And
so confused.
Now you're
an Alabama guy?
Our guy Roll Tide Willie.
Okay.
We got to root for the Tide tonight.
Okay.
We don't give a piss. Dirty right.
Yeah. He's got it.
And I think they got a better chance of beating Duke, and I don't want Duke anywhere in there.
Dude, I really just said to you guys that 90-85 hits the under.
Yeah.
Because it's 175.5. KenPom has it 89.84 as the projection.
89.84. Good Lord. That's under 2.
No, it's 173.
173? Okay, that's right at it.
Would you say the total is 175.5?
Yes.
So it is. It's right under. Yeah.
It's right under.
A 3-pointer away.
Yeah. Which, with these two teams, that's,
That also sounds like an amazing basketball game either way.
Yeah,
89-84 in a
sure.
40-minute game? Hell yeah. Give me that.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 times.
Flying up and down the court tonight.
BYU, they've scored. Yeah, man.
All right,
91 and 80 in their 2 games.
So we got 4 games tonight. We obviously got the 4 games tomorrow night. Who do you think is the least bet team?
Auburn.
Did you see that?
I did. Of the favorites, they're the least bet. It also doesn't surprise me because there's a ton of Michigan fans.
Don't say the second.
He didn't say I saw this. He said Auburn.
Auburn.
He just wanted to answer it correctly.
Was I wrong?
9.5. They are 9.5-point favorite.
There are a ton of Michigan fans.
Yeah.
Tons of Michigan fans. So I would imagine
Michigan,
when they see them, it's like almost. Here's the thing.
I kind of thought it would be. Ole Miss.
Or
Okay.
Ole Miss.
I kind of thought it would be Ole Miss against Michigan State.
Yeah.
Because Ole Miss, look.
Also a lot of Michigan State fans.
Yeah, and that's a big brand.
It is.
Yeah,
right?
shout out to
And the
Islam.
other thing is I looked it up, and they beat Iowa State, but Iowa State was without their best player. Anyways, I went and looked it up. Ole Miss is like not in the top 300 in offensive rebound rate or whatever it is. And I was like, oh, my God.
Ole Miss?
Yeah, they might not get a rebound against
So-
Michigan State is
That's what
size.
they do.
No,
They may not get a rebound.
on Auburn, Michigan. Here's the thing. So Auburn's the least bet of the favorite. That line opened 7.5,
And it's 9.
and it's
and a half?
9.5 now.
And that's set
And
up
they're
for-
not getting bet on.
Yeah, right.
And look, that's set up for Auburn to have a vintage Auburn performance, beat them by 15.
War Eagle.
One other thing real quick I do want to mention. I am so fascinated, and I'll get into it maybe more tomorrow, but I'm so fascinated. So Ethan Sherwood Strauss, he's got that Substack that he does, and then he does like podcasts and whatever. And he always tries to write about like super controversial things. One of the things he sent out, like, because I get it in my email, whatever, he sent out this thing the other day, and it was about there's a girl that plays women's college basketball. So, Devin, you should be very aware. This
guy.
I'm busting you up.
This guy.
No. The whole article, and I found this so fascinating, is about this girl who should be, in his mind, he was like, she should be the face. She should be on the cover of everything. She should be the one they're promoting.
Is this the Florida State chick?
No, this is the Notre Dame chick.
Oh, it's
Hannah Hidalgo.
Hannah Hidalgo, yeah. With the little,
She's 5'6".
She
She
cold.
averages 4 steals a game. She's unbelievable. Like McDonald's All-American, Player of the Year, First Team All-American, everything. And 5'6". And like she is the most fun thing to watch in the world. Yeah. But she shared some Candace Owen video like a year ago. And his whole thing is the reason they're not promoting her is because she shared on an Instagram story this Candace Owens video where she says same-sex marriage is a sin. And I'm reading this whole thing and I'm like, this is crazy fascinating. Wildly, it was like Candace Owens and Don Lemon arguing or something.
Okay.
And as far as I know, all she did was share the video. Like, she just posted it like as an Instagram story, whatever.
What's her name?
And then it went away. Hannah Hidalgo.
Yeah, I see it, bro.
And she plays for
Niall Ivy.
Niall Ivy.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is this is the most fun, this is the most marketable, this is the best attraction to watching college basketball. And the first time you've ever heard that name, Roser, is when I just said it.
Yeah. Yes.
And she's 5'6" and averages 4 steals and busts people's ass and is the best of the.
She has like 26 a game.
And very well may win College Player of the Year, and no one knows who she is. Yeah. And the whole theory is it's because that happened.
Okay, and I guarantee they probably never put her in front of the microphone because they know somebody's going to ask her about it. Because even all the stories say she's never addressed it. Like, never addressed it. She's been hooping all season.
It's kind of crazy story.
She gets to the Final Four.
That she
somebody
would
gonna
be
ask her about
the
it.
right, like, well, and in the absence of Juju, and maybe if she gets to the Final Four, maybe she gets to whatever.
Yeah.
But like the whole idea is that this Hannah Hidalgo is the one.
Oh, she cold.
Like she is
cold
the
now.
most fun thing to watch in all of college basketball. And I tell you this, like I don't know if the whole Niall Ivy thing is an interesting angle too, because they are super devout Christian.
Yeah, or damn, they don't play like that.
Niall is, and if you ever see the son.
Oh, Jaden?
Oh, super devout.
I mean,
yes.
Are we talking about because of Instagram?
No, very religious. No, in his
Wait, who?
interviews.
Who?
Very
Jaden,
religious. Jaden Ivey is very religious.
Oh,
guy.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Very religious.
I knew
guy.
Jonathan Isaac was.
No.
I didn't know Ivy was.
Jaden Ivey's a very religious guy, right? And so, apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right?
Right.
And his mom. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things that's just fascinating. It's like, how does the whole idea is like maybe they don't want to put her on the front page. They don't really want to promote her or whatever. Because I mean, that is a dicey thing in that league, right? I mean, that is very progressive league with an incredible amount of people that have all manners of different sexualities. And so, and again, as far as I know, she didn't ever say anything. She just shared a video that was very controversial at some point.
Yeah, and people like,
and she deleted it.
And she never like addressed it after. She kind of like posted and deleted it. And like she's had a slam cover since then too.
So wild.
Like she's been on the cover of magazines and stuff. So, but it's like, also,
but people don't know who she is.
Yeah.
And she's a 5'6" phenom whose team, and by the way, her team beat Paige Beckers and beat Juju's team this year. And nobody still knows who she is.
I mean,
and she might win Player of the Year.
People know who she is, but
not in the way.
Let's just say the casual people.
I didn't know who she was, and I'm as casual as you get. I know Juju and I know Paige Beckers. I had no idea Paige Beckers still was in college, though.
The whole article is basically like, how come people do not, you know what I'm saying? Like this would be the thing to promote.
Yeah,
because if you watched it, you would be like, oh my God, this girl's unbelievable.
I've never heard you mention her.
No,
I brought her up when they made the win streak. Her and Olivia Miles. I brought both of them up.
Okay.
Yeah, you just weren't listening because it was women's
I
basketball.
hear you coach about. I hear you talk about Coach.
It was women's basketball.
You don't know nothing about Hannah Hidalgo.
You weren't listening. You tuned me out when I said Hannah.
Big cap.
All right, hey, let's take a quick break. We're gonna get in with Alan Boston on the other side. Chris Vernon Show.
We are in March, which is Women's History Month.
True.
And we were talking about how do we kick off the show? What can we talk about? And we were like, why don't we talk about women's shoes? The Sabrina one. Okay.
Can't go
good,
wrong.
right?
That's a good shoe.
And the two, you could argue, is even better. But the one's
you can't
fine.
have the two without the one.
Yeah.
Though.
In the month of February, the Sabrina 2 was the second most worn shoe in the NBA in minutes played. The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
I never in a million years would have ever thought that John Cena's final run would be as a heel.
I love it.
I love it.
Once they saw this from The Rock,
They knew it. Everybody knew it except for Cody, which was so good.
Great camera work by
And then the
WWE.
kick. Yeah, I don't think WWE gets enough credit for the camera work and the production quality. I mean, it is incredible.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
We touched on this earlier, the panel here, about what really has been the mainstay of the Grizzlies, and that's Jaren Jackson Jr. Trip has just been awesome.
He's posting guys up. He's stronger than he's ever been. He's physical, and he's scoring all type of ways.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Grammy, Academy, and Golden Globe award-winning superstar Mary J. Blige, live in Memphis. The For My Fans Tour, live at FedEx Forum Saturday, April 19th, with special guests Neo and Mario. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The iconic Mary J. Blige for one night only.
Fake a three, it's through for Desmond Bain. FBK, fly by King. Wheels through the lane, now spins back. Ja hangs, puts it in. Oh, what a shot by Morant in the clutch. So hot. Oh, Jared said no.
Because he doesn't put on the play, comes up with a monster block.
Welcome back to the Chris Vernon Show on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, back to your host, Chris
On one morning
Vernon.
bright and clear, my old folks and I drew near, just a village down in sunny Tennessee. I'd been speeding on that train that would bring me back again.
All
to
right.
that girl I left
We're back,
in
Chris
sunny
Vernon Show.
Tennessee.
Alan Bossa was featured in the book The Odds. He was featured in the movie The Best of It. He's a lifelong college basketball gambler, and he joins us every March Madness, throughout March Madness. Last week we had him in studio in Memphis and got to hang out with him, and then he told us he was going to be jumping on a plane. He was going to be headed out to Las Vegas for the next round, but we have been able to get a hold of Alan Boston in Las Vegas. Alan!
Lucky you.
How's Vegas?
It warmed up, which I like. So it's a shithole, but it's.
Is it what you remember?
No, it's completely gone. Done. Nothing resembling the 80s when I moved here, and nothing resembling the 2015s when I got out of here.
Say 3 things that you like about Las Vegas in 2025.
I'm leaving soon. Noam's Egg Diner is a good breakfast place.
What is?
I have friends out here that I like. So there's 3.
Okay, so you like some of the friends, you like a diner, and then what? Have you been to any of the casinos?
Yes, I played a little poker, made a few bets, and they're all the same. They're just they're disgusting. They're all just greed-driven entities that offer nothing to the community.
So none of them you particularly enjoyed?
No, there's nothing I like out here. It's trafficy. It's expensive. It's got all the evils of a big city and none of the culture or charm. And it's expensive.
All right. Do you go to old school Vegas or do you go to like the Strip?
I was at the South Point last night, which is about as old school Vegas as you can get. And that's down the road from the actual Strip. And downtown's got a little bit of the old school flair, but not really. There's really none of the old Vegas around. There's some of the old casinos, but South Point still has an original race book and a separate sports book, which is very old school Vegas. They still offer a buffet for each breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which is old school Vegas. And they don't try to rob you on anything, which is definitely old school Vegas. So props to the South Point for trying to maintain some of the old school Vegas charm that was loved by many.
Is that our old buddy Jimmy Vaccaro? Is he still there?
Yeah, Mr. Vaccaro. I saw Mr. Vaccaro last night at dinner.
Oh, wow. How great is that?
5 minutes, which might be a record.
Is that what'd you say?
He's not one to participate in dinner conversations.
Oh, gotcha.
He lasted 5 minutes, which is good for him.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's get to the game. So before you came on, I said I read an article this morning that one of these gambler guys went back through his database, and the total for tonight's Alabama BYU game is 175.5, which is the highest total ever for a March Madness game. So we should theoretically expect a tremendous amount of scoring. Do you have an opinion on the side?
No, I actually think the game. I actually think under is the way to go. Yeah, both teams are willing to run and want to run, and oftentimes when you get a situation like this, it doesn't play out that way. And what are the two teams going to work on? Both their offenses are elite, so what are they going to work on for the 4 or 5 days leading up to this? That's all Nate Oates has talked about, is we have to improve our defense, and we're not going anywhere.
Right.
And I imagine BYU has worked on similar. So it wouldn't surprise me if this is not the projected track meet that everyone thinks, and I kind of think the total's maybe a little too high. It is an NCAA tournament game, and things do slow down often, especially when it gets tight late. My number on this game is 5.5, and I did hear, by the way, there was a big sale on Boston Voodoo dolls in Memphis after last week's selections. I feel a little pinned up here. So what I noticed last week, like I try to understand where I went wrong, and I went wrong very often last week, is I talk about how teams play between this set of ratings. Given a coach and given talent, they play between a very typically limited amount of power ratings. Now, what happened last week often was these teams that, let's say a team plays between 80 and 83, just as an example. Last week, a team that maybe typically is 80, 83 that was playing to like an 86 came back to earth, almost to a T. So many teams that had very, very strong conference seasons imploded in the tournament. That's number one that you need to have that in the back of your mind. Also, what went wrong is I think NIL has kind of sapped the depth of some of these mid-majors. So even if they had a chance to hang in there, they were, the one extra player they lost to a power school, I think really hurt them a lot. But that's for another day. On to Alabama and BYU. So BYU has steadily risen in their ratings. They're now playing slightly above what they typically play to. Alabama has stayed pretty much where I thought they'd be. If you look back at their pre-conference games, Alabama's had several good wins, and BYU did not. There is reason why BYU's rating got better. They had kind of a young team. They had kind of some injuries to start the year. So we can give a reason for them going up. And they have played very well in both their NCAA tournament wins. In spite of the referees trying to rob them at every opportunity in the Wisconsin game, I've never seen officiating like that in my life. A guy points to the scoreboard and gets a technical and a guy's trying to clear out with the basketball and elbows the guy in the nuts. And the way the law reads is it has to be with intent. And there certainly was no intent there. It's not like, oh, look,
Right.
So it was, and then there was some phantom foul called on a 3-point play late in the game. It was very strange refereeing. That being said, BYU's been very good in both rounds. However, if what they typically play to and what Alabama would typically play to, the numbers should be slightly higher. And in many ways, I think Alabama's a better version of BYU. So if you put a gun to my head, I would be laying the points with Alabama.
All right. Florida, Maryland.
So this is the only one I truly love. Again, if we look at the parameters that teams typically play to, Maryland has blown through theirs. Now, as an aside, I have been betting against Maryland every single game for quite some time now. I love Grand Canyon against them. I couldn't have been more wrong. But what we didn't know is I also love Colorado State against them, which was a very simple routine win. Throughout the year, though, I've been steadily against Maryland. So we'll go back to pre-conference with them, and they had 2 games against Power 5 schools. They lost at home to Marquette. It was no fluke. They just weren't good enough. And then they were life and death to beat Villanova on a neutral court. Neither one of those are going to send any fear into Florida's head for sure. Now, did their rating get better because of beating up on a bunch of crap in the Big Ten? Maybe. And again, where Maryland at their high end is like a 93 and they're now playing to a 96.5, I would expect that the only way they would play would be more towards the 93. Now, Florida has completely blown through what they typically play to. In fact, they're the second highest rated team in the country right now and arguably maybe tied for the best team in the country. However, the coach has only been there a couple of years. Both his starting centers were hurt at some point. Both are entirely healthy now and are playing and I think are the reason that they've elevated the last month to this blow-through rating. I think Florida completely lays over Maryland. I don't see how Maryland really has any hope of hanging in this game. And if you want to go to matchup, Florida having those 2 big guys, Maryland's depth there. They have Derek Queen, and what do they have after that? Like, not much. I don't typically go like that. I'm just a numbers guy because I'm not a scout. I don't know how to watch, and this guy's an NBA player and this guy isn't. However, I think that Florida's depth could also be a factor if the game stays tight for a while. My power rating on this game is Florida 9. So clearly I'm laying the 6.
This is fascinating because I think there's a lot of people that kind of got worried about trusting Florida simply because the UConn game was right down to the wire.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. I think that's going to help Florida in a lot of ways. UConn, Hurley did a great job before and after when he said some things to Baylor that were actually very interesting. So UConn runs a very sophisticated, intricate half-court game. And with a one-day prep, and Florida just wasn't ready for it. They missed a lot of switches on screens, and that's my simplistic viewing. I think that's what happened. And they got into this grinded-out half-court slugfest, which was very much a throwback to the old NCAA tournament days. When you had those 45-second clocks, the underdog could control tempo and make life miserable for the favorite by running good offense for a long time. Even if they didn't score, they forced them to defend for long periods of time. Connecticut did that to Florida, got them frustrated, and Florida was very, very fortunate to win that game. However, that kind of jolt is often what a team needs. Like they've been running roughshod over everybody for quite some time. And oftentimes, you read your press clippings or you're human. You get a little confident. And they may be a little overconfident. In Connecticut, it was capable of being a great team. They have won the national championship back-to-back years. And it's not like this is some piece of shit Connecticut team. They've had moments of brilliance, which I mentioned when I was down there. The second half against Villanova, I doubt anyone would have beaten them. So, yeah, Florida was very fortunate. But Maryland's half-court offense isn't anywhere near as good as Connecticut's. Not anywhere near as sophisticated as Connecticut's. And if they try the same thing, it ain't going to work. I don't see any path that Maryland has to win this game, and I really do think this is a very strong bet.
You think Florida's going to kill them?
I do believe that, but again, the caveat is I've been anti-Maryland for 2 months.
Fair enough. Arizona Duke. Duke's your highest rated team, right?
Their struggles with going over on a neutral and they lost to Marquette at home, I think is more telling than beating a bunch of Big Ten teams. I'll say it like that.
Fair enough.
Okay, are we now?
Arizona Duke. Duke is your number 1 rated team, right?
Yes, barely over Florida and Auburn.
But the line's high. The line's high, and I guess that's why you're not in on this.
Well, I'll throw a few thoughts out there. They did play earlier in the year. Arizona was a 2-point favorite, and Duke beat them rather easily in Arizona. No doubt Arizona's gotten better since then, but if we look at Arizona pre-conference, they had no good wins. They lost to Duke, they lost to Oklahoma, they lost to West Virginia, they lost to UCLA, all on neutral courts. So is this team that's actually played very well lately, is that more them, or is the pre-conference more them? And I think it's more that they've gotten better. Lloyd's a very good coach. He had a lot of new players there. Some of those losses aren't as bad as they would appear. West Virginia was very good at that time. Oklahoma played very well at that time. And UCLA, is just a very good team. And Arizona was actually controlling that game for a while. So I don't think there was anything too egregious about those losses. The fact that Duke beat them in Arizona typically plays out better for the team that lost at home. If you lose at home to a team, you typically play way better in the rematch. Again, what's Duke going to change? And Arizona will adjust. And what's Duke going to adjust? They won the game very handily. People saying, yeah, well, Cooper Flagg was just getting his feet wet and all the other that nonsense. That's all nonsense. There's also the shot. There's also the slight chance, and I'm saying slight because I'm outside the box and you got to look at everything, that Duke may be pretty overrated. Because if you go back to their pre-conference, the win in Arizona, albeit impressive, was against an Arizona team that was not playing well at the time. Witness those other losses that Arizona had. Also, they did lose to Kentucky on a neutral court, and they lost to Kansas on a neutral court. The Kentucky loss is no disgrace, and nor is the Kansas loss, but if you're as good as everyone thinks Duke is, you're not losing to those teams on neutral courts. So did Duke get way, way better? There's some chance of that, but as I looked at it, I mean, every ACC team has been taken out of this tournament because the ACC stunk. It did. So is Duke's rating bloated because they beat up on a bunch of crap? I think there's some chance that is the case. And the fact that Arizona was a 2-point favorite at home makes them a 9.5-point underdog at a neutral court, a rather inflated line, even if it was 4 months ago. Typically, programs don't change that much. And the more I thought about it, the more I looked at it, I'm not sold that Duke is this juggernaut. They look great against Baylor, but it was a shorthanded Baylor team on 1 day's rest. And they look good against Mount St. Mary's, and they've looked good for quite some time. Obviously, they're the real deal, but I'm not so sure they're the real deal like everyone thinks they are. And I think Arizona is definitely the way to go here.
Really? All right, but you're not going out on a like this. This is no.
You're gonna bet it, yeah.
You're gonna bet on Arizona.
Yeah, I only think the game should be 7.5 and maybe 8. So, and the fact that they lost at home will help them, and they have gotten better since then. Duke's gotten better too, but Arizona has too, and you can't go from a 2-point home favorite to a 9.5-point neutral court dog. That just can't be, barring some disaster of the team. And Arizona has gotten better, so it's really not possible. So I think this is I think this is a pretty inflated line.
The only lower seed left is Arkansas. And now Arkansas, who has won their first 2 games, including a win over St. John's, is now going to be playing against Texas Tech tonight. That's the last game of the night.
Right. So Arkansas, I projected them to be about a 94, and that's about where they're at right now. They played great in both their wins. Again, however, beating Bill Self in an NCAA tournament is not some great thing in my eyes. And I did mention, one of the few things I said that was accurate, that St. John's lack of 3-point shooting ability would get them in some game. And they were 2 for 22, I think, against Arkansas in the loss. So although both wins were good, not knocking them, they weren't mega good. They weren't uber good. They weren't as good as they appear on paper. Texas Tech had that struggle with Wilmington, albeit against a very good Wilmington team. And then again, they beat Drake on a 1-day prep after pulling an upset, which was just too much. Drake was playing with D2 talent, and 1 day's rest and having to play Texas Tech, who could be exploited because of their lack of rim protection. That was nothing that Dre could do. And I don't think it's anything Arkansas could do either. I think the line is bang on right. However, Grant McCaslin is one of the elite coaches in the country, and John Calipari is not. So the only way I'd go is the favorite here.
Really?
Yeah, I think Texas Tech's best games have been. I mean, they won in Houston.
Well, they're saying Arkansas's at least going to get. They're going to get minutes out of their best guy. D'Arrow's back, right? And that's
when I was down there. They actually got better when they lost Boogie Bland, and they actually got better when they lost D'Arrow. No, don't get me wrong. They did play really well both those games at Arkansas. Credit to that. But I think they've kind of hit the peak of their rating, and Texas Tech their rating hasn't changed all year. So the line is probably accurate, and I'm probably just I'm just trying to throw something out there that I still respect coaches a lot, especially with the 4 or 5 day prep. And I'd only go with the favorite, but I'm not betting it.
I got you. I read this morning, and I wonder how you view stuff like this. Like, what does somebody like Alan Boston think if you read an article and it says, when it gets to the round of the Sweet 16, John Calipari is 10-2 against the spread? Does that mean anything to you?
No.
No.
It means he probably failed miserably in the first 2 rounds and got a little underthinking. I'm going to point out when he had 5 first-round draft picks and a second-round draft pick and lost to Mike Bray's Notre Dame team. Like, that was almost impossible. He could have stuck there and not screwed that up. And I'm going to point out last year when we talked about how even though they know Oakland's zone defense is coming, they wouldn't know what to do, and they didn't. So, yeah, no, Calipari is...
Alan, you remember that one. I remember his first year at Kentucky when he had John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, DeAndre Liggins, all those guys. And he lost to a Bob Huggins, West Virginia team that had exactly one guy who played in the NBA on it, and that was Devin Eubanks, who barely played in the NBA.
Well, you know who they were.
Lost to that team.
You know who they were. You know who. Hey, you know who they were. You know who they were done in by that game.
Deshaun Butler.
No. If you go look, a guy that averaged 3 points a game or something that ended up with like 17 in the
West
game.
Virginia.
And the walk-off interview. Go look it up. Joe Mazzulla, head coach of the Boston Celtics. Yes.
How about Josh Pastner?
Josh Pastner?
UNLV hired him.
Yeah,
he
Joe
did.
Mazzulla
he got the UNLV job.
17 points, bro.
UNLV. The guy, no.
No? You think that's a bad hire?
You experienced Josh Pastner. He's a nice guy. He seems like a nice guy.
He is a nice guy.
You should have hired Eric Olin, like I said, the guy at Cal San Diego. So Cal San Diego, remember I was talking about the when you play between certain ratings, and every team that blew through those ratings came back to earth in this NCAA tournament. And there was one team that underachieved that actually rose to the occasion. Well, Cal San Diego is the only team that blew through their rating that actually maintained it in the game. Every other team that had banged-up conference seasons came back to earth in this thing.
Wow.
And I mean, Cal San Diego couldn't make a shot. They didn't get a call, and they still took the lead. And it was a long three that maybe wasn't the greatest shot that put them behind in that game. I mean, if anyone watched that team, and Dusty May, when he was talking about in the press conference after he beat after he beat Cal San Diego, he said, normally I dread watching film to prep for a game, but it was an absolute joy watching all the film on this team because it is such a great team to watch play. So if anyone didn't appreciate Cal San Diego, I surrender. And I don't know why that guy's not getting some job somewhere. He's just terrific. I can't say it enough. So I'll stop.
We are going to reconvene with you tomorrow on these results and the games that are going off on Friday, but I just want to clear this up before we get out of here. Florida, you're very big on, and you probably have some on Arizona. Do I have this right?
I'm probably going to bet an absolute peanut on the under in Alabama, and for just because it's an NCAA tournament game and it's 176, and I don't know. I just have a hunch that it's not going to play out the way everyone's talking. If everyone's talking about it, it's probably wrong. Like that's
I mean, here's the thing. This is what we were talking about earlier when we were trying to figure it out. We were like, bro, if it's 90 to 85, it hits the under. Like it seems crazy. 90-85, and you still hit the under?
I might bet Alabama, actually, just for a little bit. I mean, I don't know. My gut, which I talked about last week also.
Yeah.
It just feels like, I don't know, BYU's been great. They were amazing against Wisconsin. Like, that was a very impressive game. And they were very impressive against VCU, but VCU was another one of those teams that played 6 points above their rating and came crashing back to earth.
Florida is your big one tonight, though,
Florida,
right?
out of the 8 games in this round is the only one that I would go to war with.
Florida's the only one you would go to war with. All right, fair enough. We will reconvene on these results tomorrow, see how we did, and then we'll talk about the Friday night game. So I'll get with you tomorrow. Look at those biceps.
This flexing, bro.
Look at that. Look at him. Hey, look, it looks like you worked off. Hey, it looks like you worked off all that dessert we gave you and barbecue. Here.
I've continued the rampage on desserts, so I'm out here, but I'll get back to good health when I get home.
Fair enough. All right, we'll reconvene tomorrow. Thanks, Alan.
Blue City Diner, bro.
Oh, yeah. He loved Blue City.
Loved Blue City.
Yeah, loved Blue City. Yeah. All right. We'll check in with you tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully Household Finance won't be contacting me as a representative.
Fair enough. All right. We'll get to you tomorrow. Thanks, Alan. Alan Boston, our favorite. All right, so what do you guys think? He loves Florida tonight.
I get it. I get it. He also sounded like he likes Texas Tech, too.
Yeah, I like Arkansas, though. I think.
I don't know if he said he thought the line was right in that. Florida's the one he said he would go to war with, but I mean, he is like, I mean, look, and in fairness, Maryland needed a crazy-ass Derek Queen shot.
Well, and he won. He won on that. I mean, he had Colorado State. They covered.
That's right.
They covered.
So, but I'm saying this could very easily. We're a one shot away from this being Colorado State versus Florida.
I could see him also siding with Alabama. I know he said the under, but he also mentioned that if you're going to play the side, Alabama, because these are two teams that do similar things, and Alabama does it better because they've got better players at doing it.
Fair enough.
I just want a good basketball game, bro.
Yeah.
I just want both teams to have fun, you know?
Shut up. Hey, look, I am excited. I'm excited for these games, though.
Yeah.
It's a good slate. It's a good slate.
It's a good slate. By the way, did you see the report this morning about Derek Queen's NIL deal?
Dairy Queen?
With Dairy Queen?
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, dude.
Wait.
Derek Queen got a deal with Dairy Queen.
That's elite. Even though the food's trash there, but that's perfect. Dairy Queen has terrible food, bro.
I can't remember
It's
the last
so
time.
bad.
I don't know the last time
It
I
tastes
had
like
Dairy
cardboard.
I remember I used to get the chicken fingers with that gravy. They have like gravy instead of like, they had like gravy instead of, it's like this white gravy instead of like, honey mustard or ranch or something.
White gravy on their
it was
food?
like, no, it wasn't on there. It was like a side thing. I just remember getting it as a kid. Like the chicken finger basket, but it would come with like gravy
When you were a kid, though,
yeah.
That's the last time I had Dairy Queen. I think I had like a cheeseburger or something from there, and I don't know. When you're a kid,
I love Blizzards.
But when you're a kid, every
that's
fast
the
food's
Blizzard place,
good. Fast food's good when you're a kid. It don't matter where you're eating it from.
Yeah, it does
I
matter.
agree with
You
that.
don't
It
really
does
care.
matter.
Not when you're a kid.
Not when you're a kid. It doesn't matter.
No.
I was very picky. Y'all ask my mom.
Really?
Yeah, bro. I used to like look out the window and figure out what I'm like. We ain't going here. I don't want to go. Yeah, I was that kid.
Were you a McDonald's kid?
I was Taco Bell.
A Taco Bell kid?
Yeah, but I used to look out the window, and if we didn't go to Taco Bell, I was furious.
Taco Bell's elite.
I'd be like, Ma, I want to go to Taco Bell, and she would like pull up McDonald's, and I'd be like, No, Taco Bell. Yeah, it was, but
Taco Bell.
Yeah,
I remember going a lot. I did a lot of Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box is fire.
They don't even have Jack in the Box here.
Yeah, they do.
I was McDonald's.
They don't have a Jack in the Box here. What are you talking about?
The red logo joint?
That's Jack's.
Yeah.
That's different.
Bro, I could have sworn the Jack.
There's not a Jack in the Box.
Jack's I used to go to in college. I used to get chicken biscuits all the time from Jack's. I love Jack's. Jack's is throughout the South.
Yeah, there's one in Cordova. I don't want to.
Jack in the Box is not in Cordova. What are you talking about? There's no Jack in the Box in Memphis. What are you talking about?
Have I tweaking?
Yes, you're tweaking.
Okay.
You used to have like the guy with the big head, the big round head, or whatever. Yeah, that's in the Midwest.
Yeah, no, there's only Clarksville, Hermitage, and Nashville.
It's
have
just
Jack in the Box.
Jack's.
So it's like a
That's
knockoff?
different. No, that's just different. It's a totally different restaurant.
Okay.
It's Jack's. I like Jack's too, though.
Jack's, hey, shout out
Jack's.
Jack's.
Jack's on the back.
Dixie Queen is superior to Dairy Queen, though.
Really?
Dixie Queen? You ever had Dixie Queen?
You say superior.
Very much superior.
I haven't
Dixie
been,
Queen
I haven't
is,
been in forever.
Bruh. The grease on if you see the grease on the bag, ooh boy, you finna have a good day. I got
or a bad day.
Or a bad day. I gotta show y'all something.
Oh my God, I did a couple weeks ago. My daughter had never been to Five Guys, and so we went.
Oh man, you take it alone?
No, but do you know how tired I was?
Yeah.
I was exhausted. I felt like hell. It was so delicious, and then I was like, oh, I felt like my pores were all clogged. I felt like I needed a nap.
The little thing on the arm.
I mean, just bloated sodium.
Yeah, you feel it. And then
I think I took in more grams of sodium or more whatever it is of sodium in that meal than I have probably. I can't remember.
Would you get the OG burger?
I got everything.
Oh, you got the seasoned fry, the Cajun
I got the
fries.
double cheeseburger, the fries, the whole nine. Yeah.
They got a good hot dog too at Five Guys.
She wanted a chocolate shake. We did the whole thing. It was after one of her soccer games, and then I was like, "All right, well, let's go." Like what happened is she always wants to go to Pyros.
Yeah.
And we went to Pyros. There's 55 people in line.
There's that Five Guys right there
on Houston Levy.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let's just walk down here to Five Guys, see if there's a line there, and there was no line there. So I was like, all right, let's just eat here.
Yeah.
And then I walked out and I was like, oh.
I would say, like, you never
go home
go
and take
there.
a nap, Haley.
You never go there. She never goes there.
No.
So if you're gonna do it, do it.
We did it. Yeah.
You do it right.
You gotta do it right. I gotta show
Took an elite nap.
Oh yeah, it always comes with elite nap. I gotta show you.
I thought you were gonna say dump.
Stop.
I mean that too probably.
Come on, you guys are.
I mean, we all do it.
Yeah, it's
like talking about when girls fart. Everybody farts, bro.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
I'm just saying, bro. People are like, oh, there you go.
Did you just have an argument about that with somebody?
Is that a recent conversation?
That was total non sequitur.
Oddly
Did it have
specific.
anything to do with anything?
Oddly specific. My bad.
Does anybody deny? Did you get farted on?
Did not get farted. I'm not.
Sounds like
You got pink eye, bro.
Yeah,
you got pink eye, bro.
Sounds like he got
hit it with the tutu
under the covers.
No.
no.
The Dutch oven.
You get a Dutch oven.
We're good on that. But today's opening day, and I want to show y'all this.
It is opening day.
The opening day ticket prices for every team across the MLB. Throw that up there.
Oh.
So there you go.
Twins at Cardinals is $123.
Yeah, right,
I doubt. Oh well, you know why? The opening day is always a big deal. There's a good giveaway, and then opening day in St. Louis they do the Clydesdales. The Budweiser Clydesdale. They have them. They have them run around the thing. It's like a thing.
It's like a celebration.
Yeah, it's like a big thing, and those Clydesdales are cool.
Dude, is
right?
Ellie
They got the Budweiser thing behind them, like that they're dragging. Or whatever.
Is Ellie De La Cruz just that big of a deal?
Yes, bro. $200 to go to its Giants Reds.
In Cincinnati, yeah, no, but it's not even in San Francisco where everything's expensive. It's in Cincinnati.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Everybody wants to see
Dodgers. Like the Dodgers make sense.
They're
like
the
that,
champs.
Yeah,
They're
that
the
makes
champs,
sense.
of
I'm
course.
surprised you can go to Brewers Yankees for $56.
Yeah.
But those say the cheapest available.
Yeah.
Those are the cheapest available.
Orioles, Blue Jays in
Yeah.
Toronto, $12.
Well, hopefully our guy Brent Rooker gets underway in a big way as they are playing against the Mariners, and then the Cardinals game's at like 3 o'clock today.
All right.
You tapping in or you?
Yeah, it's Sonny Gray.
Okay. I don't know who that is.
It's the opening day starter. Yeah, pitcher. He's a Tennessee guy too.
Yeah, nothing is.
Yeah, but I think he stinks now.
Nothing has.
It's the unfortunate part.
And he's your
I'm pretty
day.
sure. Yeah, he's our opening day starter. He had like an 80 ERA in spring training. Everybody's just taking batting practice off him. I'm like, hey, you're just saving your good pitches for the season, bro. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful he was saving his good pitches for today.
Yeah, he's 35 years old. He's an older pitcher, man. What happened to the young?
First,
been around for a long time.
First game of the day is 2 o'clock. It is the Brewers and the Yankees.
There you go.
Good news for you, Vernon.
Yep.
On your Sonny Gray guy. In opening day in his career, he's 3-0.
Let's go.
No, 2-0. 20 innings pitched. 0.45.
Let's
ERA.
go.
So there you go.
He saves them for the season.
He saves it for the season. So
he just plays possum all spring training.
And then he cooks
He's convinced me during spring training he might stink now, but he's just playing possum.
So if you want to put a little sprinkle,
He's just trying stuff out.
there you go. There you go.
All right.
Sprinkle some stuff on the Cardinals, man.
That's going to do it for today's show. Thanks to Alan Boston. Thanks to John Roser across the glass. Thanks to Devin Walker. Thanks to Jalen back in the studio. We will be back tomorrow. Alan Boston will join us, and we'll reconvene after these games. Hopefully the Grizzlies show well against Oklahoma City tonight. And we don't have to be too grumpy Grizzly about it tomorrow, but our expectations are low. Look. Except for Dr. Thunder over there.
Yeah,
he can't wait to watch his team play tonight.
I mean, he has like
Landers
18
Center
tonight.
Good.
Yeah. Gigi Jackson, man, shooting 39%.
From the field?
Yeah.
Oh. That's low. Need to get that up. All right. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, we gone.